So here we are, the second video I've got. This is the pack that I opened from the pre-release. It's the Avatar Toph set. This is the deck that I had created. Of course, this is a cool look at this. You got I am the greatest earthbender in the world. You got tokens that you can pop up from here. Green, nice earthbender. I am not Toph. I am Melon Lord. It, it's so nice. I'm super glad I was able to get one box of each. I mean, I don't really need to. Plus, has a nice around it. Hopefully, I'll be together. That okay. So, again, this is the deck box that it came in. Came with dice, green dice to match the star. I guess at least five colors, five color dice. At least I'll be able to know the nice one. You originally you were given uh five five booster packs. I don't have a booster pack with me, and then one seeded pack. So I think I'll do it the other way around this time. I will show the cards that I did not use in my deck. Oh, these are the cards that I did. I will show the cards that I did not use in my deck just to be able to show what kind of opportunities that I may have passed out on. So, a whole bunch. You've got Rebellious Captives, which is a human peasant ally. Fairly solid. I thought about using it, but I couldn't really get around to do it. Two to cast, one green, 2/2, and then exhaust six. Pretty good, at least in the early game, and then in the late game, you'll be able to use up your uh fair mana to put two to make it a 4/4, and an Earthbend two, make a land a 2/2. I just put up the foils first. You can see how badly they curved. Fortunately, Water Tribe Rallier. I don't know this is so there's Waterbed and white cards also, not just in the blue card. These are, I guess, the women of the South or women of the North. I remember like when they fought against the Southern Water Tribe, like all the men were left away, so there were, but they took away all the benders. So power was allowed. Maybe these were anyway. So it lets you reveal a creature with power three or less, and then put them into your. Oh, it's fairly okay, but Waterbend five. I still find I'm not smart enough to be able to work around Waterbends. Maybe in the future. Putting these aside as stuff. But it's cool that they have. I realized that you have the water tribe. You have the Earth Kingdom symbol, Earth here, then another Earth Kingdom. Bending or Kingdom. Highly. I didn't. I put them originally in the deck, but then for the same reasons where I wasn't really able to pull off what I wanted to do with it, I couldn't really use the because a lot of the decks I fought against go wide, so it's a bit more difficult to utilize the don't block section. Okay, these are the nice pulls, rares that I was able to pull. Sandbender Scavengers. This is in book two. These are guys who also helped kidnap Appa. Whenever we sacrifice another permanent, put a +1/+1 creature on this counter on this creature. So this is good for the black-white sacrifice decks or the sacrifice decks. If this creature dies, you may exile it. If when you do, return target creature with mana value less or equal to this power. This is pretty good. And as you sacrifice, as things die, as you sacrifice and this thing dies, you can bring again. They're actually like earthbenders that are using the sand to be able to move it, and they're not really airbenders, but and I got my one and only alternate art rare. Oh no, I had Sozin's Rise of Sozin, another one. This is a nice one. Zuko Conflicted. At the beginning of your first main phase, choose one that hasn't been chosen, and you lose 2 life. Draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter, and add 1 red, and then exile Zuko, then return him to the battlefield under opponent's control. So this is it's a ticking time bomb, but I guess it's also a thing like he's trying to be a good guy, then becomes a bad guy, then he's trying to be a bad guy, so becomes a good guy. So I guess this is uh way to be able to translate that moral quandary into Realm of Ko, which is pretty interesting because you only really meet Ko for a couple of seconds. It's the base stealer person comes into tapped as you control a basic land. Black pay 4, create a 1/1 colorless spirit token that is happy block or be blocked by not fairly solid. Now, this one I heard was a very, very good card. Legend of Kuruk. Try to then draw a card. exile the saga, then return it under your battlefield under control. Create a whole bunch of one. Whenever you cast a spell, you can create a one color spirit. So these are like kind of the synergistic cards. Then are the avatars non-colored or are they blue? I'm actually not sure if this is. Anyway, exhaust waterbend 20. Take an extra turn after this. Make some shenanigans for this with clones. It's good. These are the most valuable cards, valuable pulls that I've got. One alternate art, one mythic. Valuable foils. Side. Okay, then you got Appa. Appa the Loyal Sky Bison. Pretty solid card. I just didn't have enough white color supports to be able to put it. It comes when it enters our attacks, you can airbend something you control, so you can keep on triggering enter the battle's activities, abilities, or you can get flying, so be able to avoid blockers. Enter the avatar state until the end of turn. Target creature you control becomes an avatar in addition to its other types. Gains flying, first strike, lifelink, and hexproof. Flying, first strike, lifelink, and hex. So that's the four. I wonder who goes to what. Because you're the flying. Who gets a first strike? Who gets a lifelink? Who gets the hex? Hexproof is generally green. Lifelink is generally white. First strike could be red, so I go to roll. Flying could be blue. Hexproof could be green. I guess that's how it is. So Hexproof from the earth, from the green, flying from blue, lifelink from white, first strike. Okay, let's see. I mean, that's reasonable enough. Glider kids, of course, this is where if you remember last time I talked about the war balloons. So when they defeated the Fire Nation, I think the Fire Nation took some of the technology from so to make war balloons. Fire Nation never expected the Earth Kingdom to take to the skies. They overtook some of the air temples. Water Tribe Captain, I don't remember this one. Actually, I'm not sure if you're a guy or a girl. Follow me to the bay. Our scouts have spotted the Fire Nation's smoke trail approaching, and we shall meet them with force. Must be the Northern Water Tribe. Airbending Lesson, very good card for you to cast. It's noticeable because it's airbend target non-land permanent, so that means you can airbend an opponent's creature. Of course, it won't get rid of them permanently, and taking life, destroying life isn't really part of the white philosophy of the airbenders. But at least you get it's a cantrip, you get draw a card, and it's a nice tempo one. So you either bounce back something you want to protect it, or to be able to reuse and eat the battle, or use it against an yip yip. Pretty decent. Gets +2/+2, and if it's an ally, it also gets flying. Those are the white cards. Most useful what I had played with the airbending lesson. Appa, unfortunately, there's not enough features that I could really. Three features, not enough to really support this card. There's blue, but Invasion Submersible. This is, of course, for the Day of the Black Sun. And this vehicle enters, return up to one other target land permanent to owner's hand. So Earthbend creatures are immune to this. Waterbend 3, put 3 +1/+1 cost. So because of 3/3. So this is like the water version of the war balloon that I had in my other deck. And exhaust can be done on your opponent's turn. Actually, ground basic is pretty good, especially if you bounce it off your own return target land permanent to its owner's hand. If you control that permanent, draw a card. Again, you might want to re-trigger enter the battlefield effects, or maybe you save your own stuff. Rowdy snowballers, a whole bunch of kids. This is probably from these are the kids from the first episode. South. If this creature enters, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter. So it's a tempo card. Geyser Leaper, flying 5 to cast for 4/3 flying. Okay, it's a Waterbend 4, draw a card and then discard a card. Okay, so this could be useful. You do it at the end of your enemy's end step, beginning of your enemy's end step. So you draw a card. I mean, filter your 5 to cast 4/3. That's pretty decent. And I notice also like this is where they have the actual like waterbend airbenders. Giant koi fish island cycling, so you can cycle this, discard this to be able to look for an island. Good for color fixing. Waterbend this project. Oh, I did not notice this part. So it's okay. It's just a cast for a 5/7 that can be unblockable for 3 and fairly decent once you hit like the late game. Eloquentia, my favorite episode, is in the cactus juice. Counter. It's basically an in the universe Avatar version of Quench, which is the same ability as counter target spell unless its controller plays 2. So lesson. So, uh, energy. Lost Days. The owner of a target creature or enchantment puts it onto their library second from the top or on the bottom. You create the clue token. So this is one of those tempo cards of this one. This is, I think, where they were all doing their own stuff in Basing State, more or less. He was trying to look for Appa. The black cards were fairly decent. So let's go back to the blue cards. Eloquentia, maybe Giant Koi and Geyser Leaper might have been good. Okay, but I don't know. It didn't pop out to me, especially since I opened a seeded green deck that had a fairly decent. Nothing really came out jumped out at me. That's why I didn't. Except for, of course, Avatar Korok, but I couldn't. I think this is not so great. I mean, maybe it's decent. Fire Nation Engineer. A lonely worker can find trouble making friends on an airship so massive. I'm guessing this is season 3 when they had successfully made airships already. Palace Inspector Menace can't be blocked by 2 or more unless by 2 or more creatures. When the creature dies, it deals 1 damage to you. A little bit of a, but I think that's the whole firebending portion. Here, the clue again, clue creation replaces itself, so it's pretty decent. Version of many hats. I also saw this in my other deck. The recursion about this is like use it to block. You block a big blocker, and then the next turn you can pay the 3 2 to cast 2 colorless 1 black to bring it back to your hand. Play it again. So whole come back, come back, come back. Fire Predators is actually pretty decent because it's a 3 to cast 2/2 Death Touch. The big, stops a lot of big creatures from considering about attacking. Then when you ever sacrifice another creature, permanent, like a +1/+1 counter on this one. So even if you sacrifice like a land, Canyon Crawler again, it's a 6 to cast for a 6/6, bit expensive. Death Touch, but it does give you a food token, so it does trigger things like a pirate peddlers where sacrifice a food token, it put a +1/+1. Where Swamp Snare Trap, again, one of those good cards. Interesting. It'll disable stuff like this one. It won't kill it, so it won't trigger death triggers. But this is problematic because it exists and it's something. A lot of decent things. This is 3, this is 1, this is, of course you have something like this. It'll still have its it'll be a 1/3, but it still has a death touch. A bit. Deadly Precision, of course, a very good removal. They have to sacrifice a clue, sacrifice food, or a 1/1 ally to be able to use it. Why did I not get this one? Yeah, not much solid cards. And to the rejected red and green cards, a fair amount. Got the Yuan Archers, fairly good. Played this in the jump index and arena. I had a lot of lands, so they said let me thin out my land. Rough Rider Cavalry, I discussed this before. 4 to cast 5, 1 red, 4 colorless. Firebending 2, big body, difficult to hit. You're able to get that exhaust. That means by the time, if you cast this on turn 5, on turn 6, you'll have, ideally, if you haven't missed a land drop, 6 mana +2 that you're getting from Firebending, and you bring some up. And of course, the Rough Riders, Leader, they got one, the Meteor Hammer, the Archer, Naginata guy, and the Fire Nation Attacks. This is the normal version. Oh, I think they should just had 2. They should have never had this third one. Create two red tokens for 5 to cast with firebending instead of instant. So it gives you a outlet for all your firebending mana. The boulder is ready to rumble. Famously voiced by the ever great Mick Foley, also known as Mankind, also known as Dude Love. And it's funny because this guy's built. I mean, the boulder is obviously a reference to the rock. He talks like Macho Man Randy Savage. It's pretty funny. When the boulder attacks Earthbend X, where X is the number of creatures you control with power of 4. So actually, could be pretty decent in wide enough deck. True Ancestry, a recursive card. I put this in the deck, then removed it again. Turn up to one target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Create a clue token, so for one. Two, because you get a card and then you get a clue. You only use one card. Plus it's flat. Oh no, no flashback. But there's a lesson. Earth Rumble. So this is when the blind bandit Toph is able to win the championship. Or spend two when you do up to one target creature you control fights another creature an opponent controls. This got me before. Fight spell was able to kill the thing that plus the earthbending two. Turtle Duck, want to cast, pay three. This creature has a base power of four and gains trample. That's cute. I mean, this is a fairly you have nothing else better to cast. Uh a turn 3/4/4 trampling beater. Decent. Ostrich Force. This is for uh land fixing. When this creature enters mill three cards, you may put a land card from among them into your hand. If you don't put a +1, you want. I think depending on if I really needed the land, I can land or pump it up. Boggy Swamp Vine Bender can't be blocked by powers with two or less, so this is pretty good. Can't be jump blocked. Then Waterbend 5, so you can get becomes a 5/4. Very decent. Badger Mole, not as famous as its youngest cousin, sibling, child. When this creature enters Earthbend 2, creatures you control with +1/+1 counters have them trample. So this is a fairly good way of powering up your landfall deck. Sabertooth Moose Lion, reach for cycling. Oh yeah, 6 to cast for a 7/7, fairly decent. Plus it has reach, so nothing more to write home about. Earthbending Lesson. Earthbend 4, again, 4 is so you'll be able to synergize this with the Boulder. Cares about attackers who have 4 power or more. The lessons. Plus it depicts Ang learning Earthbending, and because of the way the color wheel of that world operates, it's actually the opposite of Rule Administrator. Of course, we remember this guy. So we put 3 colorless, 1 black, 1 red. When a creature attacks, gets +1/+1. Whenever this attacks, it gets a 2/2 soldier token with firebending one. So there's at least we're able to at least hit this with twice, maybe. It'll be a good deal. Hama the Bloodbender. When Hama enters target creature opponent, that could opponent mills 3 cards, up to one non-creature, non-land creature from the graveyard. As long as you control Hama, you may cast the exile during your turn by waterbending X for them. So card to cast for a 1/2 flyer that becomes a 3/2 if you break a clue. Cat Owl. I'm not familiar too much with the features of Avatar. I mean the animal hybrid. So I know the sky bison and I know the badger moles, but stuff like the cat owls, I'm not as familiar with. When it's feeding bored, it chases itself. Whenever this creature attack, untap target creature or an artifact. So if you're using artifact stuff or you want to run water bend, this might be a bit or to cast for a 3/3. Earth Kingdom Soldier, Vigilance. I think the Vigilance is the big part of deal of this particular card. And up to 2 target creatures you control. Again, it's a big body that makes uh itself a bigger body, makes itself a 4/5 for 4/5 vigilance, and then another one. This is actually a fairly good rated card. Why did I not use it? Oh, because it didn't really have synergy with the allies that I was trying to do. Allies and Earthbend. That's Earth Rumble Wrestlers, like before, it's a 3/4. Could be a 4/4 if you play the land. I couldn't really find it unless we have an actual performer deck. Couldn't really find a way to use Tolls of War, not toil. Whenever this enchantment enters, create a clue token. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent during your turn, create a 1/1 ally token. This only triggers once. turn. So, yes, I mean it's okay. It's a bit slow. Just one token. You can't abuse the sack outlet. Platypus Bear. When this enters, mill two cards, and there's a lesson in the graveyard. This can attack as though it didn't have defense. Initially used this. I traded it for another one just so that I can have an early blocker in the early pick. Jet Freedom Fighter. I considered using this, but three red is a bit difficult to cast if you're mortals. When he enters, deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to a target creature, so that's good removal. And when it dies, it can put a +1/+1 to ones and kind of unsure if he survives. Trusty Boomerang, tap target creature. I don't know if I really want to use this. But it is a one drop, so I can utilize one drops. Barrels of Blasting Jelly. Not to be confused with Barrels of Jelly Candy. I think this is the one where Jet was trying to use this. I think Momo is way up here in the top. Uh, they were trying to get the Blasting Jelly to blow up the dam, to flush out the Fire Nation, but then it would make uh, collateral damage to the innocent Earthbender village. Yoshi Battle Fan, pretty good. Creates a 1/1 ally when you play it, and then it attaches it to itself, and then you 2/0. So you play it just for creates an ally for your allies deck. Then Misty Oasis Palms, where the head of its former self always not sure where this from. Maybe it becomes a place that you travel to in season 2 of Korra about that. So basically, these are the cards that I did not use. I'll switch it over to the cards that I did use. Ran and Shaw. I wish I was more confident about using this because like sometimes when I had it in my open hand, when I mulliganed, I put this underneath. I should have just kept it powerful. Flying for a 5/5 a 5 to cast for a flying firebending 2. Whenever Shaw and Ran and Shaw enters, if you cast them and there are 3 or more dragon or lessons card in your graveyard, create a token. I was never really able to pull this off. I didn't have as many lessons in my graveyard as I would have had, but it is fine. Plus, it has a pay for give it a +2/+0, so it becomes a 6/4. So it's an halfway there outlet for the firebending. Next one is this one was a forecast 4 for haste, so it really pulls its weight in terms of good rate. And then whenever another ally you control enters, it's a +1/+1 counter on that creature and it gains. So basically, I would if there's no blockers, I'd put this down, swing early, and then when I've seen that they have like maybe combat tricks or removal or blockers, I'd set it aside. Another one I was lucky to get was Great Divide Guide. Great Divide Guide allows me to fix my mana sources. Each land becomes any can produce any type of mana. Plus, now any ally can become mana dork. So that's powerful. And the other synergies that really helped pull this off was I got Earth King's Lieutenant. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 on each other ally you control. So you want to build a wide deck to be able to put it. Then whenever another ally you control enters, put a +1/+ counter on this. So it's small at the beginning, but then as you put in more counters, you play this. I play this. This gets a. This gives this a +1/+1, but because that's an ally, he gets a +1/+1. So it's a 2/2 with trample. Obviously, I won't be able to do that right away. But as you can see, every time I play I lose some early game tempo just to be able to put this down, and then after every next ally I get a +1/+1, and then once I have a wide enough board, just slap this. Then I kept other things like worked around having allies in my deck, even though they didn't really fit. They didn't really help the other cards like Toph the Blind Bandit, uh, Earthbend 2, so it creates a land that's a 2/2, and then Toph's powers equal the number of +1/+1 counters on lands you control. So as you Earthbend, she gets bigger. But I really wanted to just place it down so it can trigger this. This becomes a 1/4, and then 3/4 if this is in play. So that's really good. So I really tried to go around the whole with the allies here, the Earthmen allies down here. Another one was this one, Earth Kingdom General. This is the guy who tried to force Avatar Ang to go into the Avatar say against his will because that, uh, Avatar to be able to save them all. Then if you have one plus one on counters on a creature, you may gain that much life. So yeah, I only get one life, but then this becomes a uh 3/3 because of this, and it can swing 4/4 if it comes that. Then sparring dummy. This is the one that I traded out for the duckbill platypus, because at least if it mills a card, it's deck thinning. But at least if it's a lesson, it'll trigger uh life gain, or if it's a lad, it can go in back into my hand play for later. So it actually turns out to be a fairly decent non-ally, non-earthbend support card. And then of course, Rockus Audience. I didn't really use this much for except for its mana darkness, but again, if you're power four or greater, get two, which is not so difficult in this deck because I have a 4/4. This thing comes in, it comes a 3/3, and then this comes in 4/4. Or this one, not bad. Then of course this is kind of the removal pillar launch. So Toph hated flying. Launching, however, was a trajectory under her control. So this is a very flavorful way of being able to give them the ability to block creatures with flying, which is Rocky Rebuke. I am the greatest earthbender in the world. Don't you two dunderheads ever forget it. Of course, off being a badass, and then dealing damage equal to its power to creature controls. Fairly. The earthbending lesson, again, a lesson because I cared about lessons in other parts of the deck. Earthbend 4. So for the cast for a 4/4 haste that comes back if it gets killed. Land. Good. So again, as I said, I really leaned into the ally portion of this synergies here. So this is a 2-for-1. This has haste, but the other one doesn't. But then it's two. So because of wartime protesters, it'll get both of them will get +1/+1. More things that Earth King's lieutenant can add. Fairly decent. Then combustion technique, good removal. Two plus the number of lessons cards in your graveyard to target creature. If that creature would die, exile it instead. So that's why I wanted to have lessons. But then I cut some of the lessons because you don't have like good lesson at this. Lightning strike again, very classic card. Two to cast for 3 damage to any target, which is very important. And how to start a riot. Once you go wide, a whole like 5 creatures that gets +2/+0 is suddenly 15. 5/1/1s that get the +2/+0. That's 15 damage staring in the face. It's a lot for a format where you're only running. Boomy Bash again. This is also removal, also compared to the. I remember this is probably used when you thought I was a afraid old man, but I'm the most powerful earthbender you'll ever see. This is when Ang first re-meets Boom Mashu, if I'm trying to remember if Omashu is the city that. And this is where he challenged him. Good removal, solid, lots of solid removals, and less. I mean, if at least the other ones had some less. White Lotus Reinforcements is the other card that I wanted to put because allies get +1/+1 across the board, plus is vigilant. If again, you can see, play this comes out now. It's a 4/3, a 3/3, 3/4 vigilant. Another one, a Suki Kiyoshi Warrior. Star power equal to the number of creatures controlled. Since I do go wide, this was a bit on the 3 side, but that's okay. 4 side, it's okay. And then when you attack, so you get a 1/1 ally captain attacking. So already 2/4 at worst when attacking. It's a 2/4, but when it's at best, if you're flying or you give protection, that's a big beater. Otherwise, Uncle Iroh, Firebending 1, lessons cast. You cast cost 1 less to cast. It's another reason why I wanted to have uh Uncle Iroh and have some Earth energy. Bitter work. Whenever you attack a player with one or more creatures with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Same thing. Easy to build up characters in this deck, but I also have some naturally features like wartime protesters and Rain and Shaw. Wandering musicians. Again, this is a nice combat trick effect. I mean, you can see it somewhat coming. It is telegraphed, but +1 +0 across 5 creatures is not deadly. Zuko's exile. As punishment for disobedience, Zuko was banished and sent to capture the Avatar. Only then could he return home with his. I have the cast pretty heavy, but then I have lots of. I mean, I have we're you know, Uncle Iroh that can reduce the cost of it. Firebending to give me mana to be able to cast it. Plus, it hits creatures and enchantments. It's usually either creatures or and artifacts or creatures and enchantments. Usually not both. So this is a part, even though it's a bit. Aang's Journey again, very very useful, especially since I was playing 3 colors. Although it's primarily like a white allies deck, but this helps me find the card. I just have to remember that this does not actually put it into my hand. It puts it on. Oh, it does put it into my hand. I thought it was out of the library. Of course, all the 3 different ones. This is where they Sun plus Peak, is where they learned with the dragons. Mashu City is the home of Bumi, first kingdom of Umashu. Then White Lotus Hideout. So it can spend on any lesson, any any color mana, but it has to be paid for a lesson. 2 lessons, 3 lessons, 4 lessons, 5 lessons. Congratulations! This is the analysis and polls of my sealed deck at the Avatar pre-release. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll be opening Jumpstart Booster.